guys, we're going to talk about weather and how to define it, how it's measured, and yeah, all the ins and outs of it. So let's go ahead and get started. All right, so we'll start talking about weather, and tomorrow we'll talk about climate. Weather well, our target is I can define weather and discuss ways on how to measure or describe it. Weather is the day-to-day conditions of the atmosphere in an area. So the key to understanding what weather is understanding that it's a day-to-day. It's what's going on that day, and then maybe the next day, and usually within a week. We look at weather within a week and try to determine what's going on that week. Weather conditions include temperature, wind speed and direction, precipitation, and cloud cover. So what is weather? The term weather refers to the temporary condition of the atmosphere, the layer of air that surrounds the earth. We usually think of weather in terms of the state of the atmosphere in our own part of the world, but weather works like dropping a pebble in water. The ripples eventually affect water far away from where the pebble was dropped. The same happens with weather around the globe. Weather in your region will eventually affect the weather hundreds of thousands of kilometers away. For example, a snowstorm around Winnipeg that's in Canada might eventually reach Chicago, Illinois, as it moves southeast through the U.S. So that's a little bit about weather from National Geographic. I took that. So the weather in a certain area weather's on the move, or it affects other places. So especially here in Texas, our winters are ruled by cold fronts. So we can see those cold fronts moving through usually the Rockies, and they come down through there and into the Great Plains and then into Texas. So that's mainly our winter. That's how our winters are affected, is by those cold fronts that come in down out of Canada and the Arctic. They travel down that corridor and come to us. All right, so how do we measure weather? Well, there are 6 main components or parts of weather. They are temperature, atmospheric pressure, wind, humidity, precipitation, cloudiness. We'll mainly just talk about temperature, wind direction, precipitation, and cloudiness, which is like overcast. Is it cloudy? Is it mostly cloudy? Is it sunny? That kind of thing. Together, these components describe the weather of an area. These changing components, along with the knowledge of atmospheric process, help meteorologists, those are people that study the weather, forecast what the weather will be like in the near future. So meteorologists, those who are studying the weather, will use these tools to help determine what's going to, kind of predict what's going to be going on the next day, the next couple of days, and things like that. All right, so here's a couple of tools that meteorologists would use. So a windsock would show wind direction. An anemometer would show the wind speed. Thermometer would show the temperature, and a rain gauge would tell us the amount of precipitation, rain, snow, sleet, or hail that has fallen. So weather maps show weather over a certain area. It can illustrate where cold or warm fronts are located and where they are moving, where high and low pressure systems are located and where it is raining, and what temperatures are expected to be like in a certain area. So here's a weather map right here. So this would be us right here in Texas. You can see that we have some precipitation here. This is not today. This is a while back. This is a couple years ago. But this is a rain. This is a storm right here over the central part of Texas and all the way up into the coast, and then South Texas here. And so we have a low pressure here, high pressure. This is a cold front coming through the western states here, coming through, and then you see how it's this this hot and warm front and cold front meeting together, and so that's like a stalled front. It's just kind of stationary, just kind of sitting still, but it's probably going to be moved off by this other cold front that's moving off out of Canada right here. So you can see this is going to be heading this way, and these little points are showing you the direction where it's going. So it's going to be heading this way. It's probably going to move that stalled front right on, moving this one down as well. And so you can look around and see a high pressure, low pressure, low pressure, low pressure. You see all this precipitation here, which is affecting this mountain ranges here. The Sierra Nevadas and the Cascades are getting some snow here, and then the northern Rockies here, are getting some snow as well. There's a cold front down there. All right, so it just kind of illustrates what's going on in the area. So here's another one with a little more illustration. It's showing that it's sunny here, and it shows this color here showing that the it's going to be pretty warm in this area, then slightly warm, and then of course here it's really warm, and then cool or mild, and then cooler temperatures up there. And so we have low pressure, and then there's a warm front right here. It's going to be raining here, raining along this cold front coming here. And I also notice it's giving the highs and lows. So that's the high of the day, and then the low, this is what it will get to at night. So the high in Houston would be 94 here, and then the low that night would be 72. Another thing would be the forecast. So this is going to tell us what the highs and the lows are for the day. It also tells us if we're going to have sunny, partly cloudy, or cloudy skies, or mostly cloudy and totally cloudy skies. It also tells us the percentage of rain. That is, what's the likeliness that we'll get rain. So here it's 30% chance of rain. So that means 70% chance it wouldn't rain, right? So 20% here. And so these are going to show the highs of the day. So as the day gets, as the sun comes up and it's going to warm up the earth, it's going to warm it up. And this is the highest it will get these days. But then this is showing what the lowest it will get. That would be at night. So it's going to probably, so here on Saturday, it's going to be 53. And then at night, well, that'd probably be the night before. So probably this night, it would get all the way down to 33. And then Sunday morning, it'd be 48. And then get down to 32. So that's freezing. And then 49, 31, 57, and so on, so on, so on. And here's just another one showing again, just the illustration showing that it's going to be, here's a chance precipitation, precipitation. And then these are the highs and these are the lows for these days. All right, so when you are done looking through that and getting your mind around that, go ahead and take the quiz. All right, thank you guys so much.